Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. This is going to be your weekly forecast for the week ahead. In this video, I'm going to take a general look at the energy, and then I'm going to have a pick a card at the end of that with the timestamps down below, so you can have your card 1, 2, or 3 in mind for that. I'm going to do the pick a card a little bit different just for the advices. I'm just going to get a bit more structure in there for you guys today. So it'll have a card about what you need to be getting done, card about what you need to be avoiding, and then what the outcome will be for you guys this week. So let's get into the general energy for the week ahead for the collective. Okay. Cool. So I've got the High Priestess, I've got the Four of Pentacles, I've got the Ten of Swords, and the Ten of Wands, both in the reverse. So this is great. I like to see these two cards showing up this way. The bottom of the deck, I have Death, the Hanged One, the Five of Wands in the reverse, and the Two of Wands in the reverse. Okay. So last week we had a lot of themes that were talking about kind of non-action, about not taking impulsive leaps was a really big thing. And I think that that theme is going to be continued on this week. We do have Mercury retrograde stationing, so that is probably going to be a big factor in this for you guys. For all of us, rather. But something is definitely coming to an end here with the High Priestess and the Four of Pentacles. I think that what I'm seeing here is really a call to trust your intuition, a call to really be aware of your energetic boundaries and how the words I'm getting are how even you yourself violate them. So making sure that the things that you're doing are in accordance with what your integrity is or what your higher beliefs are, that kind of thing. I'm also getting the sense that some of us or you or whomever might be avoiding looking at a problem this week, might be wanting to how do I say this? It's kind of a feeling of avoidance, or just not wanting to deal with the underlying issues of something. 222. There's an intuition that's being blocked, or some sort of hyper protectiveness that might be happening here. Just that kind of energy of being in the corner like an angry cat instead of dealing with an issue. And that could just be avoiding responsibilities. If there's something that you said you had to do or that you would do, these cards are just saying you got to meet your obligations this week. And if, on the other hand, you didn't, show your receipts and be no, I never said I would do that, that kind of thing. So very interesting energy. I'm going to get an oracle card and clarify this, and then we'll get into the pick a card. What can you tell me about this energy, Spirit? Okay, I have the Tribe in the reverse. What can you tell me about this energy? Okay. I have Serendipity. Interesting. Okay, so this card, first of all, talks about, it talks about give and take, a lot of things in life, but this really talks about, knowing when is the right time to let 333, somebody else, take the lead, and when to step back, and then when it is time for you to take the lead, and when it's time for you to step back. In the reverse, this also really talks about, knowing when you just don't fit in. It talks about, that feeling of you have to compromise yourself in some way in order to fit. And with this card, it really talks about lost and found kind of energies for me. It kind of is that energy of when you divorce a part of yourself and you put it over here just so that you can fill this certain role, and you're maybe ignoring your own rhythm in order to do so. These two together are really talking to me about okay, if you've been doing that, this is here, I'm here to tell you to stop doing that, basically, because yeah, you're not doing yourself any favors is what it kind of feels like. So that is that for the general energy. Staying true to yourself, staying in your lane as per usual. Gonna shuffle now, and then we'll get into the pick a card. So have your card 1, 2, or 3 in mind. Timestamps are below as per usual. Separate messages for you guys. Oh, I can't believe January is over. This month has just been blink it and you'll miss it. Blink it and you'll... Anyways, let's get 3 separate messages. Okay, Spirit, what's going on this week? What advice can we give? Okay, I've got 1, I've got 2, and I've got 3. Let's go. All right, card number 1. I have 52 at 5 minutes and 20. I love that. Mending. Okay. Let's get the rest of your cards before I open my mouth. What does pile number 1 need to attend to this week? Oop. What does pile number 2 need to avoid? 1 need to avoid? And what is a positive outcome there for card number 1? That's very clear. I love a jumper. All right. Okay. Okay, so card number 1, what I'm really seeing here is don't overthink it. I really think that for you, for this specific group, I think you can really safely say that like the end is in sight and you don't need to be repeating old patterns. So in the things that you need to attend to this week, 6 of Wands. Okay, this is success. This is like really a great energy of like you can rest on your laurels a little bit. You can appreciate the rewards for the hard work that you've put in. With this card as well, I think this is a really good time for you to just be like appreciating the fact that like at the end of the day, you have you, and that is so enough. Okay, with mending, this is really an energy of like getting your relationships back into a place where everyone is on the same page. It really talks about like how do you meet with people and clear the air sometimes? How do you make sure that you're not being a sore loser sometimes? Not for you this week because you've got this card. Of course, roles can be reversed, so like you're gonna know if this is you. But if you've been dealing with a situation that's been feeling like very, very heavy and like burdensome on your heart, Spirit is just saying like go ahead and release those things, because the things that Spirit wants you to be avoiding this week, look at that. That is overthinking. That is so much overthinking. This really, one of my meditations this past month that I got from Chani, if you guys follow Chani Nicholas, she's my favorite astrologer, but she wrote for the Libra horoscope this month that when you're working with your life path, 1/2 of the equation is a clean break, the other is a clear commitment. This to me is a card of a clean break. Okay, so 1/2 of the equation is a clean break, the other half is a clear commitment. For you this week, know what your commitments are, honor them, celebrate them, know that your main and fundamental commitment is to yourself and to your healing, and reject taking on things that don't serve you, you know. This is also an energy that I really like seeing in terms of like what to avoid, because this card can also talk about like when you've come up against certain things in the past and you become very overwhelmed by them, or there's a feeling of like you just like can't keep your head above water. But when you've gone around the circle a couple of times, you know, this is that energy of being like, okay, like this doesn't kill me the way that it used to. Like I am able to like kind of coast above those stressors and above those triggers and not get caught up in them and not get like triggered, you know, not get overwhelmed and sent back into that downward spiral. So that's a really great week ahead for you guys. The positive outcome is the World in the reverse. So this card can, it can say a lot of really different things, but this really, to me, this week feels a lot like just if you notice yourself in those similar patterns, like just don't go ahead. Just go ahead and don't repeat them, basically. Go ahead and let yourself out. And trusting the universe a little bit more. Just like a little bit of non-action, I think, for you this week. Okay, so I really hope that that helps. I hope it brings you some clarity for the week ahead. If you have further questions or you're like, what, that made no sense, I am available for readings right now, so feel free to check out everything in the description box for that. On to card number 2. Okay, Serendipity. Okay, this is the one that jumped out. Very cool. I'm going to get the rest of your spread here, so bear with me as I shuffle. positive outcome for card number 2? Cool. Good to go. Okay, wow. So I want your homework for this week is to just kind of explore your relationship around willpower. What does willpower mean to you? What does control mean to you? This feels a lot like trying to control external circumstances because there's a feeling of like internal insecurity. And again, with the serendipity card, this really talks about like rediscovering something, or it's like when you see a new side to something and you're like all, you fall in love with it all over again, that kind of a thing. In your attend to, or things to do this week, we have the Empress in the reverse. So this really talks about, this is not my favorite card. But this card kind of talks just about like control. It talks about being maybe a little bit like dominant. It talks about the shadow of the divine feminine as well. So like that manipulation, like the cloyingness, like the really like kind of thing where it's like you maybe don't feel like you have control of your internal environment, so you try to control the external environment. And whether or not that is the reality of the situation, it doesn't really matter, because that feeling is going to manifest itself. The reason I also say that is because in the things that Spirit really wants you to be avoiding this week, we have this guy. Yeah, so this is like ambition. This is bold, taking action, like using your head and like, getting your bar graph out and that kind of shit. Like that energy to me says like, if you're feeling insecure, sometimes what happens is we'll take our analytical perspective and we'll just be like, that's all there is to it. This is like, to me, very Capricorn energy. So you might be dealing with a Capricorn, especially because your positive outcome is the Page of Pentacles. So if that is a feeling that's happening for you this week, I feel like the advice I want to give you is kind of like lighten the fuck up almost. And sorry, I do curse. I'm a fully grown woman. But lighten the heck up, guys. Sometimes there's a time to like go out and just reacquaint yourself with new energies. This is the energy of a learner. This is someone who's like, I don't have it all figured out, and I don't have control of everything, and I don't have to have all of the answers right now. I can just be curious. I can just initiate something new sometimes. I can just let myself feel inspired by the universe all over again. So, it's kind of an interesting message. There's a really nice opportunity for you to like course correct, or just kind of like get back into like a little bit more like playful mode and not be so freaking serious all the time. I love you. Again, if you guys need readings this week, I am available for that. Please check out all the info in the description box. Hit me up. I'm here for you. This is now card number 3. Okay, Between Worlds reversed. Yeah. This is Hanged Man energy. I was just meditating with this card. That is very cool. Let me get the rest of your spread. Card number 2, 3 need to avoid. Okay, and what does card number 3 have as a positive outcome here? Okay. All right. Hang on, guys. Some of you guys are going to be in decision-making mode. So, all right. We're good to go now. Okay. So, give me a second with these energies. They're kind of like not on the same page. Okay. So for you guys, this week, I think the key thing is just like be aware of your expectations, being aware of like a tendency to like get disappointed when something doesn't 1444 reach your imagination or your expectations in some way, or there's something about the way that a situation plays out that is like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like it doesn't maybe feel satisfying to you because on one level it doesn't match up to what you thought. So I feel like you're maybe going to have to like battle a little bit with yourself, with your mind this week. In the things that you need to attend to, we have the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so this talks about thinking long-term. What are your long-term goals? What are your long-term inspirations, ideologies, those kind of things? The Knight of Swords, I kind of am getting the feeling that actually your ideology might be shifting a little bit. There might be a change in the way that you conceptualize meaning, or just sort of those self-limiting beliefs and those expectations that are liable to not be filled. They need to have a little bit of a release and a rework. And just again, thinking about like those long-term things. What are those blind spots that you might have? What are those things that have previously stumped you or whatever? In the things that Spirit would like you to avoid, we have the Queen of Swords and the Three of Wands. So this is really interesting. This is very like, because we have a younger energy here that you're supposed to be in rather than this more mature Queen of Swords. So this is kind of just telling me like, don't pretend that you're further into something than you think you are. It's a very real thing. When we act like we're more prepared than we actually are, we can actually shoot ourselves in the foot. So this is kind of that energy of like, if you're not ready for something, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine to not know things. And your positive outcome is the Five of Wands. And this card is really just like fighting for the best possible outcome, or sparring with people around you so that you can find the best way to do anything. I'm also getting this idea that, this energy from these cards that you may be like just in a transition of communities as well. I feel like there's something in this Ten of Pentacles that is telling me that there is a group of people who want to like bring you into the fold, that want to welcome you as an acolyte, someone who's newer, learning, who has like, can breathe fresh air into something and like maybe doesn't have all of the power, but brings a really fresh perspective to things. So this can be someone that you're dealing with, or this can be you. But either way, it's really important for you to like have that fresh perspective. Don't be so like far in the future that you're planning something that is like not, I'm getting like the sense that there's like, you're dealing with two situations, and like one of them is like, that's not where you need to be devoting your energy. And this other thing, whatever it is for you, requires like a little bit of us, admitting that, you don't know everything, but it's so much healthier for you in the long term. So there is that. And I think you're going to know, the proof is going to be in the pudding again with this guy. Whichever community you feel like you can speak your mind, or you don't have to be walking on eggshells, because again, this card is my walking on eggshells card. This is my like, ooh, I don't know what to expect card. So if you feel this week that, again, with these general themes being about like compromising a sense of who you are in order to fit in, if you're noticing yourself doing that, just remind yourself that there are situations that do exist where you are allowed to just like say what's on your mind and let the chips fall where they may. Okay? So, and not to say that, we should be rude to whoever we're encountering, but like this kind of energy, this is a community that can withstand the drama. Okay? You want to be in a community that can withstand a storm. And not necessarily looking for the next best thing. This might be one of those things where you just have to stay and stick it out, fight it out, but you do have to also be in that place where you're willing to speak your mind. So I hope that helps. And I really hope that you have a great week. I'll repeat what I've been saying this whole video. If you need further clarity, please feel free to reach out. I am available for readings right now. I'm sending you lots of love. Okay, take care, guys. Bye.